It's another great day in Denver. Are you thinking that you want to live in a more rural environment but have all the amenities of a big metropolitan city just a stone's throw away? Then today we're going to tell you where you need to be. I'm Michelle Wise.
And I'm Cheryl Crown.
And we are living in Denver, Colorado. If you're considering making a move to Denver or are local and looking to move within the great metro area of Denver, Colorado, then you've come to the right place.
Because we live here, we can give you the inside scoop on everything Denver. So please be sure to subscribe below or tap the bell for notifications and you'll be the first one to know the next time we drop a new video.
And while we have so much fun making these videos about Denver metro area, we are licensed realtors here in the state of Colorado. So if you want more specifics or you're actually ready to make that big move, then you've come to the right place. Give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email. All of our information's on the screen and down below.
We get calls and emails every day and we personally respond to each and every one. So regardless of your time frame, we are totally here for you. So we're gonna get after it right now.
Okay, so today we're going to tell you about Brighton, Colorado. Brighton, Colorado is a suburb of Denver, but it's on the very north tip end of the Denver metro area. And it's a very rural community still. So when I said if you're looking for a place that you want to live that's that small town, rural feel, but just a stone's throw from a big metro city, Brighton is that to Denver. It is growing and it's expanding. It's currently got about 40,000 people. And when Brighton first came on the map, or where it's been in the last several years, it used to be a farm community, small, very small town. It was a stagecoach stop, a railroad stop, and just recently in the last 20 or so years has it really expanded and become more of a suburb of Denver than the small rural town. Couple quick notes about what you get in Brighton. Again, like I said, it's about 40,000 people. The average price point or the median home value runs you right around $366,000. So affordability is huge in Brighton. And that's a mix of new builds and existing old farm homes, Main Street in the townhomes, that type of thing. Although the median income in Brighton is surprisingly higher than what I thought it would be when we started looking at things, because it is a smaller town and smaller towns typically, don't have as much money as some of the bigger towns, but the median income is about $76,000. So it's a great town to get your first steps in home ownership. Again, if you want that small town feel, but being close enough to Denver to do the things you need to, being close to an airport. And in regard to that, the airport is really close. It's really only about a 20-minute drive. So if you work or you commute a lot, Brighton might be a great place to be. And if you're going to downtown Denver, it's probably about a 35-40-minute drive. Probably a little more on those bad traffic days that Denver can get sometimes. But overall, even though you're in that north tip of the metro area, it's still great proximity. Plus you can get up to Fort Collins, Greeley, some of those other towns here in Colorado without too much, time spent in the car. So it's a great location.
Yeah, and I think when it comes to the median home income, I think that's on the rise because there are a lot of people who are leaving Denver and the closer, to downtown, and they're getting a lot more for their money in towns like Brighton.
Yeah.
So it is bumping up the quality of life in towns, the outskirts of the Denver metro area. And yes, it's changing. It's evolving into suburbia.
Yeah, for sure. So with that brings us to our pros and cons of Brighton. And the first pro I think we've touched on is that it gives you that small town feel, that rural acreage property if you want that. A lot of options for that out there, but there's also options for, your typical neighborhood that you would find here in Denver. They're building, brand new home builders are building in Brighton. And so you got a little bit of variety there depending on what specifically you want. And again, you're still so close to Denver that, if you need to commute into the city for work or activities, it's very easily done.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that it's kind of neat to be able to live in an environment where you still have farms and you still have that wholesome, feeling.
Small town America feel.
Yes, exactly.
Fruit stands on the corner. They actually do have that.
Yes.
Fruit and veggie stands, because there is so much agriculture around it. The farmers will bring in their goods and sell them on the corners, like a little farmer's market that's just kind of impromptu.
Yeah, so that's really neat.
Yeah, for sure. And so, being the small town that it is, or relatively small town, the city does a lot to kind of promote that community feel. So, back in these old days when these small towns would have these fairs and these activities, Brighton is still trying to do some of that. They have one of the fun activities that they do that I actually want to try is they have moonlight bike rides once a month from April to September or something like that, and they range anywhere from 6 to 10 miles or so, and you're just out in the evening under the moonlight riding your bike through a designated path, and it brings the community together, and it looks like a blast. And so I think that looks really fun to do, and they do different rides each month. So you might be through some of the farmland the one time, and then next month you're more riding through downtown Brighton. So it sounds fun. I'm not even a huge biker, and I think it sounds fun.
I was gonna say, I just got my bike tuned up, so we need to get yours tuned up so we can go do it.
Yeah, totally.
Yes.
Totally. And so they also do other events. They have concerts in the park, and they do holiday events like an egg hunt and Festival of Lights at the holidays, the winter holidays. They have a nice calendar of events across the year. Majority of them tend to be a little bit more warm weather activities, but they kind of hit all the marks with that community, fun, family friendly environment. So definitely a pro for Brighton there. And then the final pro that I think is the cost of housing. So again, we've said so many times, cost of housing in Colorado as a whole, is more than what you get in some other states in the Midwest and so forth. But when you're looking at just the metro area, Brighton being, again, it's all about location and proximity. Brighton's at the top northern end of the metro area. So you're pushed out a little further. So therefore property values, you're going to be able to get a little bit more for your money. So they have, like I mentioned, new build communities going in. If you want some acreage, there's a lot of options for acreage out there, big and small amounts of acreage, horse properties, farm property, you name it. They have a big variety of the different types of living you can do in Brighton. But the property value is less than if you're looking for that same house and lot in more of the Denver metro, Denver area.
Okay, so should we move on to cons?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do some cons. Well, first and foremost, the airport, although it is close, there is a con to that, which is flight noise. You are in some flight paths getting in and out of DIA if they're heading west and then coming in from the west, you're going to hear planes. So, it's, you can't really change it. And I guess it's just one of those things that you take it or leave it. And if you're you have babies that are prone to loud noises, you might not want to move to Brighton.
Yeah. Hopefully they're a little higher, but
Right.
But it is loud. You hear it. And,
it is.
I think it's one of those things, you get used to though. If you live in the city in New York and you're by the suburbs or by the subway, you start to just tune that out. You're by a train track in a more rural setting. I think you get used to it. It's definitely a con, but
well, I grew up right near a train track, and when I moved, I couldn't sleep because I was so used to the sound of the train. So it's not necessarily
that white noise kind of rumble.
But random. It's not constant, but anyhow.
Yeah.
The other thing about Brighton is because it is such a new and up and coming town, there aren't a lot of options as far as restaurants and nightlife and, local shopping and that type of thing. It's a lot of bigger box stores going in.
They have a Kohl's and they have a Walmart and some things like that. The good thing about some of that in Brighton though is the restaurants. If you're a big chain restaurant person, Brighton may not be for you. They have a Chili's and an Applebee's and I think a Texas Roadhouse, but a lot of their restaurants are going to be more the small mom and pop restaurants. So for me, I find that as a pro because I love those mom and pop type places, and Brighton has some of the best Mexican food you've ever eaten. So if you're a big Mexican food fan, you might even want to just stop and look at a house in Brighton just so you can stop and eat lunch there. So it's got some of that big box franchise coming in, but it's not overwhelming, and you know, they still have, because it is that small town feel, you know, they do have some mom and pop stores that have been there for years and years and years, whether it's our hardware store or, you know, restaurants, things like that, yeah.
So in our blog in Brighton, we will go, let's like make a pact, we'll go to a Mexican restaurant.
Really yummy Mexican food.
Done. That
Hands
is no
down,
problem.
my favorite kind of food. I could eat it all day, every day, but yeah.
Absolutely. And then the last con, if you like, you know, urban living, if you like the hustle and bustle and the people, as we mentioned, you know, Brighton is very rural. It's quiet. I think things close really early. There's not a lot of things to do, you know, after 9 o'clock at night kind of thing, unless you're doing the moonlight bike ride. Yeah. Yeah. So I think it just depends. You know, it could be, I think for me personally, I like a little bit of both, but I think I like to live in a more quiet place, so it's not necessarily a con for me. But you know, there's zero pretty much happening.
Yeah, it kind of goes to bed at night, you know, and then they get up early with the chickens and the horses and the cows. So,
and it's a bedroom community for a lot of people who work downtown.
Yeah, there's not a lot of business. So if you know, are a corporate business person, unless you can work from home, chances are you're gonna have to commute out of Brighton in order to get to work. So, and probably into the north suburbs or Denver or something like that. So, you know, that could be a con if you want to work and live in the same neighborhood. But otherwise, it's a great little town. It's growing and it's got something for everybody, but it just does. The question for you is, does it have enough of what you're wanting? So when you're in Brighton, there's some parks, there's some lake, Bar Lake is huge, with walking paths there, but you're just kind of like, they're more trails, you know, like, so if you're wanting to do the hiking, you definitely have to get up to the mountains and get up there. But no, it's a great place. And check out our map video if you want to see more proximity to where things are. Check out our vlog where we can show you Brighton houses, kind of what your money gets you and where in different neighborhoods. So yeah, check us out. And please, if you want to subscribe or like our channel below, please do so. And also reach out if you have any questions about anything else that we haven't covered in these videos today.
Thanks for watching. Peace and love.